Good evening and welcome to the APISD School Board of Trustees special meeting. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2025. The time now is 7 p.m. And with a quorum of 5 of 7 members, I now call this meeting to order. We'll begin with our pledges of allegiance, if Mrs. Rodriguez will lead us in those, and invocation by Mr. Rector.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Let us pray. Our Father and our Lord, we come this evening thanking you for being the center of our lives. We're thankful for all the beautiful things in life you bless us to enjoy. We come now praying for this special call meeting and this board workshop, that we can accomplish the things that you will allow us to this evening. And we ask all these blessings in your mighty name, and for your sake we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, and thank you, Mr. Rector. We are now at the portion of our meeting for public testimony. And we have no one who is here or indicated they would wish to speak. So we will move on to our next item, which is our public hearing. I now open the public hearing for our proposed budget and tax rate for the 2025-2026 school year. Ms. Chapa.
In your packet on page 1, it includes our revenues, projected revenues for next year. Last year we had a projected ADA of 1566, and this year we have a projected ADA of 1455. That's based on an enrollment of 1564 at 93% attendance. As of today, we have 1,552 students enrolled. So we're on target as we align our enrollment to the budget. On page 2, this is a comparison of the revenues from last year to this year. Last year, our revenues were budgeted at $18,507,302. This year, the revenues projected is $20,974,447. The difference of $2,467,145. On page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is a line by line item, by function, by object code. In comparison, the proposed budget to last year's proposed budget. This budget has been prepared by campus administrators and each department director. I won't go over every single line item. It just, if there's any questions on a certain item, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Trustees, any questions at this point?
And there's no changes as what we've presented in the past budget workshops. On page 9 is the food service proposed budget, and on page 10 is a debt service proposed budget. Each year, the board is required to adopt a budget for the local, the food service, and the debt service. On page 11 and 12, there's a comparison of certified values from last year to this year. On page 13 is a notice of public meeting to discuss budget and proposed tax rate. This was publicized in our local newspaper. This states last year's tax rate on the maintenance and operation last year was 0.6669, and the interest and sinking fund was 0.1419. Total tax rate last year was 0.8088. For this year, the proposed maintenance and operation tax rate is 0.6969. The INS is 0.1119. Total tax rate, same as last year, is 0.8088. That's all I have. If there's any questions.
Trustees? This is the public hearing in which public members from the public or community can attend and ask questions or make comments. This evening, we don't have any in attendance. Were you able to connect? Is this go? Okay. Well, if there's nothing further in terms of explaining the proposed budget and proposed tax rate for the 2025-2026 school year, I now close this public hearing. We will now move on to our action item agenda. First item is consider and approve the 2025-2026 budgets. Ms. Chapa, will you lead us into the discussion for our action item now for the trustees' consideration?
Yes, as mentioned, and as we have discussed in our workshops, the proposed 2025-26 budgets remain the same as discussed for local, food service, and debt service. No changes have been made. Administration is recommending approval to go forward with the proposed budget.
Just for clarification, when Mrs. Chapa mentions no changes, she's referring to no changes from our prior preliminary budget discussion, and including information that was presented at our last regular meeting. But again, trustees, these proposed budget documents and proposed tax rate information are in your packets. As we are now at the portion of our meeting to consider action, are there any questions, comments, or concerns from trustees?
Ready for a motion?
If there are no comments or questions, what is the pleasure of the board regarding consideration of the 2025-2026 budgets for local maintenance, food service, and debt service?
I move we approve the 2025-2026 budgets presented for local maintenance, food service, and debt service.
We have a motion by Mr. Stansberry to approve the budgets for 2025-2026 local maintenance, food service, and debt service. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. Our next item is to discuss and take action on a resolution providing for defeasance and calling for redemption of certain outstanding district obligations, delegating to certain district officials and staff the authority to effectuate matters therein resolved, and other matters in connection therewith. Ms. Champa.
This resolution was prepared by our financial advisor, RBC Capital Markets. This order authorizes the defeasance and redemption of a portion of the district's outstanding unlimited tax bonds and approve an escrow agent, and all instruments and procedures related have been provided for consideration. This allows the district to pay down debt on the INS side. And administration recommends consideration to move forward with this resolution.
Trustees, any questions or comments regarding the defeasance resolution as presented? If not, do we have a motion to approve a resolution providing for the defeasance and calling for redemption of certain outstanding district obligations, delegating to certain district officials and staff the authority to effectuate matters therein resolved, and other matters in connection therewith?
Also move.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Rector. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullinax. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. Next item, consider and approve the 2025-2026 tax rate ordinance. Ms. Chapa?
Yes. As mentioned, tax rate on the M&O is 0.6969. INS is 0.1119. Total tax rate is 0.8088. This ordinance was written by our district attorney. The attorney has included recommended motion language for consideration to approve this ordinance and setting this tax rate.
Before doing so, do we need to read the description?
Yeah.
Read the description and the motion, or just the description? Or,
Sorry, just the motion. It includes, the description includes ballot language as part of the ordinance setting the tax rate. The motion was also drafted by our district's attorney. Let me explain. It includes ballot language if we consider a VATRE election.
okay, we have the ordinance setting the tax rate.
Let me also mention, our district attorney also mentioned individual votes must be casted. If the ordinance passes, in order for the ordinance to pass, it needs a 60% vote. If it does not meet the 60%, then the ordinance does not go through.
I apologize. I am checking for that recommended motion language. Do you have a copy of that, Ms. Champa?
Yes.
Do you have a copy? Oh, okay. So mine is not popping up like that.
This looks completely
That's
different.
why mine looks completely different. I apologize.
Do you want a copy? Or no?
I'll read it just from the board book.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I apologize. I was looking for it and my screen is completely different.
Great.
Okay. Sorry about that, Blaze. I was looking to you, but. Yes,
Our
yes,
board
please.
book looks
Is this where we're at? Yeah.
See, mine
Is
doesn't
this where we're at?
show.
Because mine turned off too.
Maybe click out of it.
No, hers
Sorry about
looks
that.
like-
Appreciate your patience.
I think she's in a different view than
But
this.
this is where we are.
Okay.
This is where we are.
Because mine turned off.
Trustees, are you all in the view that shows the recommended motion language? Okay. I apologize. Mine was not
No,
set to that.
I'm sorry.
This one,
We're on this next one. I don't see it.
there.
Thank you so
And this
much.
is the
Appreciate
motion,
that.
So in the RV, we see it here in the gray.
Thank you, Ms. Hill.
You're welcome.
All right. Again, our item is consider and approve the 2025-2026 tax rate ordinance. Trustees, if you don't have any questions. Do we have a motion to approve the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.808H, which is effectively a 4% increase by which the proposed tax rate exceeds the no new revenue maintenance and tax rate? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Stansberry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullinax. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Oh, we have to all go through and say our vote.
So if you will, say aye and raise your hand so that Ms. Miller can record. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion passes. All right, our next item is to consider and approve a call to order of election for a VATRE, voter approval tax rate election. Ms. Champa.
This is for a special election to be held November 4, 2025. And this order has also been prepared by our district's attorney and has also included wording for a recommended motion.
Trustees, do you have any questions on the exhibits that were presented to us for review in our board book? If not, do we have a motion to approve the order of election for a VATRE as presented, and further move to authorize the administration to take all steps necessary to ensure that such an election is conducted in accordance with law?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Mullinax. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hill. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye and signifying by raising your right hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Our next item is to consider and approve an election agreement with San Patricio County. Mrs. Champa.
For item agenda E, F, and G, election agreement with San Patricio County, election agreement with Aransas County, and election agreement with Nueces County. This is because our district is within 3 counties. So in a November election, we must do a joint election in all 3 counties. So 3 contracts have been provided for you for each county.
Okay, so as this information is included concerning the election services contract for the Aransas Pass ISD VATR conducted by the San Patricio County Election Administrator, ISDs are not required to hold joint elections for special elections. This requirement is only for general trustee elections. Pursuant to Texas Election Code, voters cannot cross county lines to vote in local entity elections in November. In addition, local entities, including school districts, are required to share at least one of the county's early voting locations located in their territory, use county election precincts, and the corresponding polling locations. Therefore, the district will need to contract with all 3 counties in our district boundaries. The first that we have is the San Patricio County. Trustees, are there any questions upon your review of the contract? If not, do we have a motion to approve the election services contract with the San Patricio County Election Administrator?
So moved.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Stansbury, second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hill to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. And so now we move on to the next the next item to consider and approve a joint election agreement with Aransas County. Trustees, are there any questions on the Aransas County contract with APISD?
I move we approve the joint election agreement with Aransas County.
Hold on just a second.
Sorry.
Point of order, we just want to make sure that we specify that it's the election administrator for Aransas County. So let me, do we have a motion to approve the joint election services contract with the Aransas County Election Administrator?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Stansbury,
Second.
second by Mr. Rector to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. And then the next contract, this one is the joint election agreement with the Nueces County. Trustees, do we have any questions on the Nueces County and Aransas Pass ISD election contract? If not, do we have a motion to approve the election services contract with the Nueces County Election Administrator?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mullinax to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hill to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Our next item is to consider and approve a donation from the APISD Education Foundation for innovative teaching grants and a student-led beautification project. Mr. Bennett.
Okay, on this, we're asking the board to accept this donation. The recommended motion is approved donation of $44,222 from the APISD Education Foundation for teaching grants and campus beautification.
I'm sorry, Ms. Chapa, your name is on there as well. Do you have anything further? Okay.
That's the total for both of those.
Trustees, any questions on this donation? Comments?
I'll make a comment. I think that we should definitely be saying thank you to our Ed Foundation for how hard they work to obtain these funds and support our staff and all that they do. They hit the ground running when they're still fairly new, and they have been doing a phenomenal job supporting this district. So I think that they deserve some recognition. So if anybody who's watching sees any of them around, be sure to tell them thank you.
And I'm sure our teachers really enjoyed receiving those checkboards for the various grants that they had submitted proposals on, and now able to implement those projects. So, anything further, trustees? If not, do we have a motion to approve the donation of $44,222 from the APISD Education Foundation for innovative teaching grants and campus beautification?
So move.
Motion to approve by Mrs. Hill, second by Mr. Rector. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Our next item is to consider and possibly rescind prior board action approving policy FM local. At our August 11th meeting, our regular board meeting last week, we voted to approve the adoption of policy FM local in the motion to allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities at APISD. And that was based on the board and administration's understanding at the time that the policy as related to Texas Senate Bill 401. And so the board and administration has since last Monday received legal clarification and determined that adoption of policy FM local is contradictory to permitting homeschool students to participate in UIL activities at APISD. And when we looked upon further review to move forward for implementation purposes, that FM local pointed to FD local. FD local is that second document that we had in our review and consideration that said that the district would not allow homeschool students to participate. So that's why it's contradictory. The motion was to approve because we all thought and understood that FM was the version of the policy to allow, but technically it does not. Okay, so because the legal opinion is that what we did last week at a regular meeting and voting on this item could give someone a real or perceived contradiction, then the recommendation was to rescind that action and to reconsider the item. And so we were fortunate enough that we already had this special called meeting, which we could do so because, again, SB 401, if a district does not want to allow homeschool students to participate in its UIL activities, that district would have to opt out before September 1. Otherwise, as Mr. Stansberry mentioned in his motion last week, the default is that the district would automatically include homeschool students in its UIL activities. So again, for the record, as the motion was made and second, it was not an error by individual trustees. It was the understanding of the proposed policy documents that we had at the time that the district had received. So we now have that opportunity to clarify, and certainly any further discussion, because the two documents that we had, we thought that they did two different actions or would render two different actions, but they do not. Mr. Bennett, do you have anything further before we open up to trustees' questions and discussion?
I'm not sure if were you going to move forward with possibly rescinding that, or was more discussion on it, or?
No, just right now, just the rescinding part. So we, because the district attorney recommended rescinding and then have the item back on the agenda. So we would basically do a reset.
The way you've stated is exactly the recommendation we have from attorney and from TASB policy. And we have time, like I say, it doesn't go into effect until September 1st, and we had this board meeting in place already, so it gives us this opportunity to revisit it if the board so chooses.
Okay, so that will be the next agenda item. Are there any questions on the possible rescinding our prior board action? Mr. Stansberry, I think you wanted to say something?
Yeah, one step at a time. I mean, I'm gonna make a motion that we rescind our action from August 11th on approving based on FM local. Then we can start over.
So we have a motion to rescind our prior board action of approving policy FM local made by Mr. Stansberry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullinax to approve. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor to rescind, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries.
Now we
So now, yes, sir, next item, consider and possible action on policy regarding homeschool student participation in UIL activities. In your board book, we do have the same two policies, the UIL FAQ. And Mr. Bennett, do you have anything further from TASB Policy Services or the district's attorney for possible action item?
Not as far as those documents are concerned. There's as they were presented at the previous board meeting. There is on that to get this clarified is the Senate Bill 401 states that a board must adopt a policy indicating that it will not allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities before the deadline established by UIL, which is September 1st, and subsequent years it'd be August 1st. So both of these policies would be relating to opting out. If the board chooses to allow, then you take no action on these. Both of these would be FM refers to FD. The wording, what you have there is a draft of what the wording would be in FD. So both of these combined are the opt-out option for not allowing homeschool students to participate in UIL activities.
So then there is not a proposed policy for districts to allow homeschool students?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Both of these refer to opting out, or you take no action to opt in, or not opt in is the law takes effect September 1.
Trustees, questions, comments? Additionally, correct me if I'm wrong, we still do not yet have the legal framework, the legal policy from TASB.
No, ma'am, not at this time.
So trustees, as you recall, many times we have the legal policy that our local policy is to comply with, but that is not yet available for us in terms of implementing a local policy. I will say that that as a trustee and for a school district to move forward with implementing either way, you can read Senate Bill 401 and there are particulars for what a school district can do. And there's also language for what homeschool students can do. But I do have some concern that we do not have the legal framework yet. I do have some concern that when you look at that SB 401, that Senate Bill 401, to give you an example, it says that a homeschool student may participate in UIL activities in the closest school district, the district where they reside. If the district where they reside, their local school district jurisdiction-wise, right? If that school district has opted out and does not allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities, then they can go to the next closest one, and so on and so on. SB 401 also says that school districts are not required to accept homeschool students outside of their jurisdiction. So on the one hand, homeschool students, if you read SB 401, it says that they're allowed to jump to the next closest one, right? But that next closest one is not required to accept them. So that's why I was hoping we had the legal framework, the legal policy. That's just one example to help give us a bit more guidance on how to move forward. Additionally, UIL has requirements for participation in this program, in activities rather, in terms of eligibility, passing, attendance. And a school district would have to ensure, just as it does for its enrolled students, that any homeschool students also satisfy those UIL requirements. However, there's not yet the legal framework or policy to say how a school district can do that without violating SB 401 that says your district cannot take over or impede upon the homeschool program. They're still within their homeschool program. They're still a non-enrolled student in your ISD if you allow them to participate in your UIL activities. And so this is some additional clarification this week since this issue. And so I would ask, what is the impact, or what are the things that we need to do, don't do, be careful of? The policy that we set, what would that do to our UIL programs, whether it's athletics, band, scholastic UIL activities, without having that additional legal framework and guidance. Yes, sir?
Mr. Rome's had a few points he was like to bring to the board to help for some clarification points of view on this, if you don't mind. That'd be okay?
Okay. Mr. Romes?
Thank you, Board. So I've done a lot of study recently on this issue, and I have just a couple of points that I'd like to make on behalf of administration and I've talked very closely with Ms. Rose, our junior high principal, Rose Tran, and our athletic director. First of all, there is a major concern about funding. I have a very good, I've spoken to several superintendents in the area and a superintendent in a North Austin school district that has been allowing this for 2 years and has yet to see a penny of the $1,500 that TEA is promising. TEA is saying it's supposed to be given by this homeschool entity, which if it's a single homeschooler, that family would be responsible for paying that $1,500. The homeschool entity is saying it's been promised by TEA, and so that school district right now is in the middle of litigation trying to recover over $20,000 that they have spent on the several homeschoolers in the last 2 years that they have allowed. That's just one instance. The funding is a definite issue, and we are already in limited funds that we spend on our students who are currently enrolled. The second point I'd like to make is the, as Ms. Butler said earlier, the unequal academic, behavioral, and attendance criteria. I don't know what that would look like being the principal, but I know here in Aransas, every single year we ratchet up the criteria and we're trying to make the best students available. We have more students showing up for dual credit classes. We have more students that are in attendance. Our attendance rate last year was the highest that it's been in 5 years. So we are trying to encourage our students in attendance, in behavior, and in academic excellence. And we cannot hold at this time a homeschooler to that same accountability. And then or what that would look like. And then finally, my third point, and probably the largest, right now, today, if we had 100 students at Aransas Pass High School withdraw because they don't want to follow the dress code or they don't want to follow the cell phone policy and they want to go home, be a homeschooler, and still play football, still be a cheerleader, still be in the band, that would cripple the district. We would have to close the doors of the high school if we lost a quarter of our students to funding. It is almost, and I want to be real careful because I want to say this very clearly, I feel like allowing homeschoolers to join our UIL activities is incentivizing our students to withdraw, and really and truly it's cutting the legs out from under us in attendance and in trying to keep our enrollment numbers up. I very, very much appreciate what you guys do, and this is in no way me trying to undermine anything that you've done. It's just my thoughts in discussion with my fellow administrators, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Romes. I'll kind of trail on that because these were some of my sentiments when we first were presented this, is that we just don't know enough to strongly support it. Another concern, everything Mr. Romes mentioned were some of my top concerns already. And another big concern that I had was in regards to our safety plans, allowing these kids access to our campuses. It's going to be some additional steps there. We're talking about badging, time schedules, who are they reporting to, when are they reporting to them, how does that work for every sport and every UIL activity, and how do we make it consistent across the board? So for me, I just don't feel like we barely even understood the policy to approve or disapprove it. So there's a red flag for me off the top, that it wasn't crystal clear for us to do something that seemed so easy. I don't trust the state. We've seen several times where we're told funding is going to be done one way and it's not. We've seen it through FEMA processing. We've seen it through disasters. We've seen it through teacher pay. We've seen it, time after time. Every time we sit here, we're asking for updates because they're changing the game and saying, We said we were going to approve it this way, and now we've added this extra caveat on top of it. We're also fighting the state of Texas right now for public education to get kids into our doors. We know that there's a push that incentivizes homeschooling, that incentivizes going to private school. It incentivizes the households that choose to do so. So to me, this is another one of those slick little ways to yet again incentivize it and ask the people who voted against that and said, we support public school districts, to say, actually, we support your homeschool because we want a few dollars from it. To me, that's a cop-out. And I also don't feel like this is a decision that we have to rush. We can say no. We have time to get more information. The school year has already started. There is no need to add additional workload to administration when we've already said I do. We've already done our budgets. Why would we go create an extra fund load that we don't even know what it's going to look like? To me, that's insanity. But I do think if it's something we wish to consider, I say we wait, see how it works out for somebody else. We do not have to be the test dummy, and give it time and maybe revisit it again, since we have to approve this every single year, next year when we have gotten legal framework and we have gotten some clarity on what this is supposed to look like. Otherwise, I feel like administration has pointed out red flags. We see the red flags. And our job is for stewardship. And to me, that's bad stewardship. If you don't have complete clarity, and you know you don't have complete clarity, and you still choose to move forward with something that has no plan, no implementation strategy, that is not good stewardship. And that is our job as a board in this scenario.
I need to share one thought. Like I mentioned before, working for so long with the school district, there are some kids that are out there and they should deserve the chance. Not everyone, not all of them. But with our theme this year, growing, together, to avoid that problem of homeschool, we need to work together, because one teacher can make a big difference on a child. It can make it go good. It can make it not go so well. That's why I have mentioned there's a reason why those students or parents want to put them in homeschool. We need to work together and make the best of it. No child left behind. Work with the parent, communicate with the parent, and make the best of it to avoid to go to that extreme. That's my thought.
Trustees, any other thoughts or comments? Concerns? Anything further, Mr. Bennett?
No, ma'am. The concerns and how Ms. Hill put it and Mr. Rome speaking are the ones that I've come across looking into it. Those seem to be the red flags, as we call them, for those people who have questions about this. So.
Now, the biggest thing is last time we had a clarification on this, one of the policies said it's going to opt in and one of them said it's going to opt out, right? This now here, if you do nothing, you opt in automatically, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's opted out of that. So we're voting on the motion now to opt out of permitting homeschools.
Right.
So
You would either take no action
we'd have to
or
pass the motion, correct?
make a motion you'd either take no action or make a motion to accept
No action,
FM and
it'd automatically
FD
be
local.
implemented, right? So we have to, if you don't take an action, then it'll be automatically implemented.
You're
So it'll be
opting,
homeschools.
that means
Gotcha.
you are, yes, moving
One
forward.
clarification.
I am concerned about those districts and being added to the list of districts who move into the direction to include homeschool students as participants in their UIL activities. and not receive that $1,500 per student per activity, per homeschool student per activity. That's a concern until they, and it appears that there's an example already of a case in litigation to see who is supposed to pay that to the ISDs. Maybe something will come of the current litigation.
This is all stemmed from when Governor Abbott forced the voucher program on the school districts. It's a complete correlation to that. You stop and think about it. For the last 120 years, Aransas Pass has not allowed homeschools to participate, correct? I've got
With the exception of the requirement for our ROTC, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
So,
that's a requirement, and so we're in compliance there. Have been.
my thoughts have changed since the last week. And if you want a motion, I can make a motion.
Let me make sure, does anyone else have any questions or comments? Just want to make sure everybody, since we are resetting, we're starting over, want to make sure that we are all ready to do so. Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, Mr. Stansbury, you have the floor.
I move that we adopt policy FM and FD, both of them local,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
to not allow home students or private school students in UIL events in Aransas Pass.
So we have a motion on the floor to adopt policy FM local and FD local that would not allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities at APISD.
I second.
The motion was made by Mr. Stansbury, second by Mr. Molinax. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. Our next item of business is to convene an executive session as authorized by Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, considering all and any purposes permitted by the act. Although this is the portion for executive session, we had for consultation with the attorney. However, Mr. Bennett, do you think we still need that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Trustees, anyone have a need to go into in executive session for legally permitted items?
No, copy 8, mate.
All right, so if not, do I have a motion to cancel executive session for this evening?
So move.
Motion by Mrs. Hill, second
So moved.
by Mr. Rector. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. So our next item of business is our consent agenda. And these are regular routine items, reoccurring items. There are 3 on the agenda. And before taking action on the consent agenda for all 3 items,
It's 4.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I count 4.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, had to scroll up, folks. So I apologize. I can count. I just couldn't see. All right. So, trustees, you will have the opportunity to pull any of these items for further discussion. We would discuss and vote on it separately from those items that are ready to go in the consent agenda. This evening, we have renewal of adjunct faculty agreement with Texas A&M AgriLife San Patricio County Extension, renewal of resolution to recognize extracurricular status of San Patricio County 4-H organization, renewal of memorandum of understanding with Del Mar College for the Pathways in Technology Early College High School PTEC dual enrollment programs. And fourth, renewal of memorandum of understanding with Del Mar College for dual enrollment programs. Before moving forward, I am going to abstain from the consent agenda for the items that could give a perceived conflict of interest, and I will let Mr. Mullinex, as our Vice President, preside over the consent agenda.
Okay, and as Ms. Hill, as Mrs. Butler has said, anybody have anything on the consent agenda they want to pull out to talk about, discuss? Okay. With that being said, do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
So moved by Ms. Stanberry, second by Mr. Rector. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed say nay. Motion carried. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Ms. Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Mullinex. All right, is there anything further, Mr. Bennett? Ms. Chapa? Okay. Trustees, anyone have anything further for tonight?
I'd like to make a point real quick.
Yes, sir,
This
Mr.
is
Stansbury.
a, new state law that come out, I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but the new Open Meetings Act, you putting up the agenda on Friday for Monday, doesn't work anymore. It's gonna be 3 business days.
Yes, sir.
So if you got anything for the agenda,
That'll be on Wednesday now.
it's gonna be Tuesday. You don't count the first and last day, so. Anyway, it's just a clarification rules. I gotta do the same thing for the crime board, so.
Yes, sir, thank you.
If y'all got anything for the agenda, you have 3 less days to get it in, so.
Yes, sir, Mr. Stansbury is making a point because that will affect our next regular meeting.
Right.
And so, thank you for bringing it to us as a reminder collectively that we get to hear it before we head into September. But rest assured, Mr. Bennett is already working on that and working out a new timeline to ensure that we are complying with the new order. So, yes, so that will impact our next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Stansbury. Well, if there's nothing further, trustees, no further business for this evening. The time now is 7:58 p.m. and with nothing further for this board, this special meeting is now adjourned.